Does anybody else every year have the fear that they're going to run out of Halloween candy? Because that's me. I always overpurchase because I don't want to be the one house on the block that doesn't have enough candy. And also, I have this deep fear instilled in me from since when I was a kid that trick or treat is a real thing, that if we don't have a treat, they will trick us and play some kind of prank on us. And I know realistically, I don't think that really happens. Like if you don't have candy, don't you just turn off your lights and people know not to really trick or treat there? It wasn't until, I swear to God, today, at the ripe age of 33, that I'm realizing, worst case, if we run out, we can turn off our lights and people will know not to stop here. And that just shows the kind of mindset I have of collecting. It's like I need to make sure I'm prepared for anything, even on this holiday of Halloween. Anyway, today what I really wanted to talk about is a different form of decluttering that I think is maybe even more important in some ways than the typical form that you often hear about. I talk a lot on this channel about decluttering and living with less and how simplifying and streamlining can make life so much better. It allows you to focus on your priorities. It allows you to not spend so much time taking care of, dealing with, putting away stuff, and allows you to focus on what you really care about. It allows you to focus on relationships or maybe your career if that's important to you, or some kind of issue that you want to do something about, or a new hobby or an interest that you want to explore. Having less stuff opens up your world a lot more. But I think what one could argue is just as important is our mindset and all of the thoughts and the to-dos and the mental stuff that's constantly going through our brains. That load can be heavy sometimes. I have to say, I guess on a personal level, opening up a little bit here, lately my mental load has been a little bigger than I think it usually has been. And I've noticed that some of my thoughts have gotten more negative. It's like the more stuff that's bouncing around in there, the easier it is for my brain to start to go negative. In my defense, I think I've been dealing with a lot right now. I have a 5-month-old baby. I'm working full-time on a podcast while I'm also doing YouTube. My husband is in cardiology fellowship and he is working constantly, is running on very little sleep. I think the thing that continues to almost stress me out the most in my life is my MS. I was diagnosed now 3 years ago. I can't believe it. It feels so recent. It still feels so new. I'm still learning to navigate it all. And my symptoms bother me every single day. They make it difficult to just do the ordinary things that I'd love to do more easily. With all of this going on my plate, I've just been feeling a bit overwhelmed, and I've noticed that my brain has just gone more negative. Like I'm telling myself more negative things. And a lot of it has to do with, and this is me getting kind of vulnerable here, but feeling like because of my MS and how tired I am all the time, I'm not being a good enough mom to my daughter. I feel like a lot of the thoughts in my brain are just getting stickier and stickier, and they're multiplying. Like there are just more and more of these kind of negative thoughts. Like, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you being more active? Why aren't you doing more fun things with your daughter? Maybe it means you're not cut out for this, that kind of thing. I know that I have a lot to offer my daughter and that I'm really, really trying, and that's what's important. And I also know that I'm making sure that she has the love and the attention that she needs. I've been trying to think about decluttering those negative thoughts, or at least trying to reduce them a bit, which is what decluttering is. It's not like you get rid of everything, but it's just that when you have a bit too much, when there's excess, when it's getting to a point where it's holding you back, that's when it's time to declutter and to reduce some of that excess. And so that's what I've been trying to do with these negative, unhelpful thoughts. I'm guessing that other people deal with this too. In fact, I know it because I used to work as a therapist. I know that people often have really negative thoughts about themselves that are both totally inaccurate and or are not helpful. So I thought I would just slow down today and have a little video where I talk about 5 thoughts that I think a lot of us could probably declutter and just kind of push away, and it would help us out a lot. I do want to say that I think that one thing that gets in the way from decluttering these negative thoughts is the implicit belief I think a lot of us hold that we don't have control over our thought lives. You know, when a thought comes up, it means it's true. But if we just create a little bit of space between us and our thoughts, what the psychology world refers to as cognitive diffusion, if we create that space and we're able to look at our thoughts from the outside and take control in deciding if we want to buy into that thought or not, we can change the course of our thought lives. You have the power to make some small shifts to actually change how you feel and how you think. One way to do that is to pay attention to your thoughts, to notice when you're having a lot of negative thoughts, identify those negative thoughts as being not helpful, and then maybe picking a new thought to try out instead. But I also think another way to just reduce those negative thoughts in general is to meditate. I'm not the type of person that has historically been great at meditating. I have always liked the idea of it, but I can't get myself to do it regularly. And so one thing I do is to give myself a challenge. I'm just going to meditate for the next 30 days. Every single day, I'm going to meditate, even if it's just 2 minutes, just a little bit of meditation, because I've noticed when I do that, my whole thought life feels a little bit better. On a personal level, one thing that has helped me do the 30-day meditation challenge, and just more generally in life, meditate more, is Aura. So Aura is the sponsor of today's video, but I have to say it has really made a huge impact for me. Dare I say it, it's kind of changed my life. I know that sounds dramatic, but it really has helped a lot. It has helped me transform from someone who always was kind of interested in meditation, but just never could really do it, to someone who regularly does it. Basically, Aura is a mindfulness and sleep app that actually won the Best of Apple award and is used by over 7 million people. So you know it's got to be pretty good. It's an all-in-one app for well-being and sleep. It has thousands of meditations, stories, and a lot more like CBT and life coaching and breath work. And they have content created by hundreds of expert coaches and therapists from around the world. What I like about it is that it's highly specialized. You can pick the exact type of meditation or even voice or accent of the person talking that you want. And I also like it because it has those stories and breathwork things. Sometimes I put it on even when I'm doing something else, like doing the dishes or laundry. I really think Aura is a game changer when it comes to meditation. So if you're interested, I would encourage you to click on my link at the top of the description box below. It is an opportunity to try out Aura for free. The first 500 people to click that link will get a free trial of Aura plus an exclusive 25% off after that. So anyway, back to the 5 thoughts that I think most of us should probably try to declutter. So the first thought that I think we should declutter is overgeneralizing. It's basically when you take one little example and blow it up to indicate that there is a total trend. So for example, if I make one little mistake, it means I'm a total failure across the board, or I'm incapable of doing that thing. Sometimes it's also like if you have one negative interaction or one negative thought, you assume the world is against you. You think, oh, this person seemed annoyed at me. Gosh, people always find me annoying. That kind of thing. I think one thing to help combat overgeneralizing is to just think of an opposite example, because usually if you fail at one thing, that doesn't mean you literally fail at everything. Think of something else that maybe you've done better or that you've improved on. Taking action in your thought life and thinking of an opposing example is a great way to say, you know what, this was one example of me failing in the moment, of making a mistake, but that doesn't mean I'm always going to be that way. Just because one bad thing happened doesn't mean the world is against me. I think it can recalibrate how you're absorbing the thing that's bothering you. A second common thought that I think a lot of us have, but that totally gets in our way, is I can't do that. It's a simple one. It's not a catastrophic thought, but it is a total limiting belief. And sure, maybe I'm not going to be an Olympian. Maybe I can't, do a huge ski jump or something. But often I use that thought in a lot of scenarios where it might not be accurate. Usually underlying it, it's the thought of I'm not smart enough for that, or I'm not capable enough. But I think it's also important to remember often when we start something new, it can be really, really hard. It can feel almost impossible. I remember when I was first learning to drive, I literally was like, this is never going to happen. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to drive a car. It was so difficult. It felt like steering was impossible. Even just pressing on the gas, it was like, boom. I felt totally out of control. But eventually, now I don't even think about driving while I drive. I just do it. Sometimes we just assume we're literally incapable of something, and then we, through practice and trying it, become capable. And that thing can bring us a lot of joy or fun. Just think about all the other things I might try in life that I thought I was incapable of that I might be able to do in the future. A third thought that I think a lot of us have that is not helpful is it's too late, or what's done is done. And I think this one comes up for me a lot, especially in relationships where maybe I've been kind of bad at keeping in touch with someone and I feel guilty about it, or I haven't responded to a text in forever. I procrastinate on those things when I'm super, super busy, like I am right now. But I gotta remember, no, that's not true. It's never too late to reach out and just say, hey, I want to reconnect. I'm so sorry that I haven't been as responsive. It's never too late also to try something new. Just because of your age, whatever age you are, you can always try something new. I truly believe that. And I believe that as someone who has had therapy clients back when I was a therapist, even into their 80s. People can try new things, they can change, they can adapt, they can learn new skills. I truly think it's never too late. Another thought to declutter is, I don't deserve it. I think the whole idea of deserving is such a weird thing. Like on, for example, reality shows like Survivor, I admit I'm a Survivor viewer. People often talk about deserving, like, you deserve to be here, or I deserve to be here, that person doesn't deserve to be here. And it's like, no, nobody really deserves to be there. Nobody's actually better than anybody else. And the way to play, for example, in the game of Survivor is very different depending on the person. And a variety of people have won in a variety of ways. And deserving, in my opinion, has nothing to do with it. And I think this translates beyond just reality television. Whether you deserve something or not, it's very ambiguous. It's in the eye of the beholder, and believing that you don't deserve something can really limit you from pursuing what you want to do, from going for your dreams, or going for something that, again, maybe you didn't think you were capable of. Just let go of the idea that you don't deserve something and start going for it. A fifth and final negative thought that a lot of us have is the thought, nobody likes me. We all have those low moments occasionally when we're maybe in tears or just feeling really down, and we just think, nobody likes me. Because I think it goes to the root of what most of us really want, which is to feel a sense of connection. We all want to feel loved and to love. We all want to feel a part of something. But somehow, when something bad happens, or we feel a sense of rejection from one situation, or we just feel alone, we have this thought, nobody likes me. That's just not true. And I think that sometimes when we start to get into this negative spiral of this all or nothing thinking, if we have one negative interaction, we assume it's everything, it can hold us back and make life more difficult on us. If we assume nobody likes us, when that's probably not true, it's not really helping us out. I know this one is kind of obvious, but I just wanted to say it because I think, honestly, all of us at one point in our lives have had this thought. I also want to add, this actually isn't a thought I've been dealing with lately. Like, I do feel very supported by some people around me, so luckily this isn't one that's been coming up for me recently, but it is one that has come up for me in the past and that I think a lot of us deal with, so I wanted to bring it up. Just remember that you are loved, that you are appreciated, and that even if you don't feel it sometimes, even if you feel like you're out on an iceberg by yourself, just remember you are loved. And maybe you don't feel like that in this moment, but in your future you will feel that again, and you don't have to feel alone forever. Anyway, that's most of this video. Remember, declutter the thoughts that are getting to you that aren't helpful to you, that are getting in the way. And don't forget, if you want to try out Aura, that meditation app, click the link in the description box below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up button. It's a great way to support the channel. So if you take a moment to do that, I would really appreciate it. Click subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. And that's all I've got for you. Thank you so much for spending this little bit of time with me. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.